What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing a quick update notice breakdown, as Netmarble late last night did go ahead and update us, letting us know not only what we are going to be getting for the Christmas holiday events that we will be getting in the game as of tomorrow, but also how we are going to be obtaining our latest SS character, which is going to be, of course, SS Shizuru. But before we get into all of that and more, make sure, if you guys haven't already done so and you enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content such as this, please smash that like button and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. Now, as always, if you guys want to read all of this information for yourselves, links will be in the description, but as I've already highlighted in the intro, yes, SS Shizuru will be the next SS banner character to be added into the game. However, there is no banner involved this time around, as you guys are about to see, because this time they are actually going to be doing something a little bit different. However, it is going to be very reminiscent of something we've already seen them do in the past that was a bit of a mixed bag when it came to the reception from the community. So that's probably going to end up being something that is going to be a bit of an issue for some people out there, especially given the fact that Chizuru has been a character that a lot of people have been looking forward to. But let's go ahead and get into it and we'll talk about it. So as you guys can see, Chizuru is going to be an SS character, and she is going to be a red defensive type. So we have had this character in the files leaked for a couple of weeks now, ever since the Guilty Gear collaboration dropped. So this isn't anything that is too surprising. However, the real surprises, as I've already mentioned, are going to come in the form of how we are going to be able to obtain her. But in general, this is what we are looking at as far as the typing is concerned. So overall, for all of you Chizuru fans, your wait is finally over. Now, when it comes to cards, we are going to be able to obtain a new finisher as well as a new option card. There's actually going to be two new option cards here, as you guys can see. Now, if you take a look here, it is going to mention that after the update, new battle cards will appear through Event Exchange Shop, the SS Shizuru Craft event, and the Dice Game event. So this stuff is going to be stuff that we can technically obtain for free. However, the catch is that there are going to be different events for each one of these, and that is something that we are going to talk about the further we get into this video. So let's go ahead and keep on going here. So you are going to see here that with the new 3PG finisher, she is also going to be having those different effects that you can obtain on that card. So this is something we saw introduced with the Guilty Gear collaboration, and it does appear as though this is going to be something new going forward that they are going to plan on doing for all of these new characters, more than likely. However, they have not confirmed that, but typically whenever Netmarble starts something new, they like to make it a trend and do it over and over and over again. So as you guys can see, she is going to have three different options, just like we saw with the Guilty Gear collab, and you can get either a attack increase, an active skill damage increase, or a crit damage increase. So that is what we are looking at with that. So pretty much exactly what we have seen with that previous collaboration. And then we do have a new card set. So as you guys can see here, this is going to be the Shrine Maiden of the Mirror set. So this is going to also be new cards here that we can obtain through these new events. So yeah, guys, there is quite a bit in here. Now, when it comes to this, like I said, there are not going to be any banners involved from what they have said in here. So that is something to definitely keep in mind. Technically, you can get this stuff for free, but time will tell as to what it is going to take for us to get this stuff, as far as how difficult or how easy it ends up being at the end of the day. Now, as far as the new events, because as we've already mentioned, we're going to be able to get this stuff through events, so obviously there's going to be quite a few of those. So we are going to have a new Rush Dungeon. This is going to be a winter holiday without Santa, so this is going to be the official start of the Christmas holiday events. So we will have a new Rush Dungeon. We're also going to have a new login streak that is going to be holiday themed, and you are going to see right there that we are going to be able to obtain SS Shizuru event coins for the final day of login. So basically, that is going to be how you are going to be obtaining Chizuru, and we'll kind of break that down as we go through here, but that is going to be the currency that you're going to need to use, and basically, she is going to be locked behind an event that is very similar, or at least going to be something that's almost mirroring what we saw with the SS Marie Rose event from Dead or Alive 6. So next up here we have a mini dungeon, which is going to be a quiz time event. This is the first time we've ever had one of these. This is something they go into more detail in a separate notice about, so I'll wait to talk about that when we get there. We're also going to get Elf Kasumi's Xmas dice game, a Christmas event crafting dungeon, and then also we are going to have, as I mentioned, the SS Shizuru Lucky Chance event. So as you guys can see here with this board, this is going to be, like I said, almost exactly what we saw when we got that SS Marie Rose event. For those of you who are not around for that, basically you can use 100 of the coins in order to go in and get a random item off the board, which will also include those Shizuru shards or coins or whatever you want to call them that are right there that are going to be on the left hand side, and that is going to be how you're going to be able to pick up Shizuru as well as some of this other content. Now I'm a little bit foggy on the exact details. There's a bunch of different images floating around, so I'm not going to get into any hearsay or try to piece together things just based on what random information we've gotten. When it comes to Netmarble, they tend to suck when it comes to translations, so it's going to be a situation where I'm just going to wait and see on some of this stuff. But as you guys can see, it's pretty self-explanatory as to how we are going to be able to obtain these coins here. So that is pretty much what you guys are looking at there, and typically there's going to be a bunch of daily missions and things like that, kind of like what we saw more recently with that Saul Badguy gotcha system that they did, where you had those events that you could do that were just daily missions to get those coins. It's going to be kind of similar to that, only without a banner, and this time you'll just have this lucky chance board that you'll have to randomly obtain these things from. So that's kind of how that works. So next up here, these are going to be your event missions, speaking of. So as you guys can see, those are going to be some of the different missions that we can do in order to pick up these coins, and that's pretty much how you're going to be able to roll on that thing. So there's going to be a lot of RNG involved. This is going to be kind of a mixed bag for a lot of people, you know, really coming hot off the heels of a collaboration. I know a lot of people aren't going to have a ton of rubies, so it is nice that they are giving us a bit of a break on having to spend rubies for a new character, especially since a lot of people expected a new banner. However, of course, there are always going to be ups and downs and pros and cons to anything, and with this new event, and given the fact that Shizuru is such a fan favorite, I guess I should say, that I do see quite a few people probably not liking this. But again, I would just wait and see, you guys. Let's wait and see what it looks like as far as how hard it is or how easy it is to obtain this stuff, and then we can kind of go from there. But that is what we are seeing with that. Next up, we are going to have that SS Shizuru event crafting thing. So this is going to be an event where you can craft SS Shizuru Fighter, SS Shizuru Memories, and the option cards by using the SS Shizuru coins obtained from the SS Shizuru Lucky Chance event. So pretty much we are going to be able to craft this stuff. It looks like we're going to be able to craft it using these purple Shizuru coin things that are going to be from this Lucky Chance event. But again, that's going to be just a whole lot of me trying to kind of read between the lines and piece together information. So I'm not going to try and do too much of that. However, in a separate notice that we'll go into, they do talk a little bit more about some of this stuff, and we'll go more in depth when we get to that. Now, there will be a new battle pass. Now, this new battle pass I've already taken a look at, and it is looking like it's going to be largely kind of what we've come to expect, but that's pretty much all there is to it. Not a whole lot to talk about. We'll talk more about that when it's live in the game. And then we have some new packages, and as you guys can probably imagine, yes, they are trying to sell you those SS Shizuru event coins, because of course they are. It's Netmarble. So in general, that stuff we'll talk about when the update's live as well. We always like to talk about the packages then. So that's going to do it for this part of the update notice. Let's go ahead now and move over to the other one and go more in depth on some of these events. Alright, you guys, so there's going to be a lot of different events to go through, so I'm just going to go ahead and start shotgunning through this stuff. So we do have a rush dungeon that is themed around the holidays, so this time around I'm sure it's going to be exactly structurally what we've come to expect with any of these rush dungeons. You have 3 different chapters. Of course, you aren't going to want to grind on the thing for the exchange shop until the final chapter opens up, at which point you'll probably need to use your Christmas characters and cards in order to obtain more of the coin drops that you can parlay into the exchange shop. We don't have any confirmation on what is in the exchange shop yet, so we're going to have to wait and see on that. But again, not anything that we haven't seen before. The login streak event we've already talked about. Biggest thing there is going to be those Chizuru event coins. And then we have this new quiz time mini dungeon based on what the rewards are going to be, which is going to be AP and Rudolph cookies, which the cookies end up being important. We'll talk about momentarily. This is a new kind of event, so I'm not necessarily sure exactly how this is structurally going to be implemented, but I bet you it ends up being something that's pretty inclusive and easy given what the rewards are. I would bet that this is probably going to be kind of a stand-in or replacement event for things such as the Catch This Little Thief events or those mallet events or that kind of thing, where it was those little easy event dungeons that you could go into the Advent dungeon and do, and they took you like 2 minutes. I bet you this is very similar, but it does say that we are going to need to answer questions in a quiz, so I don't really know what that means. We'll have to wait and see how they implement that. Again, this is something completely new that we haven't seen before, unless I've completely forgotten something. So next up here, we do have the Magical Elf Kasumi Winter Dice game. So as you guys can see here, this is going to be the board. Not anything too crazy or dissimilar from what we've come to expect. Really, the biggest question mark here is going to be what the repeat rewards are. You will see that you are going to be able to get rubies for completing the board, it looks like, for whatever round they're on in this photo. But again, we're going to have to wait and see what the repeat rewards are, and that is something that we're just going to have to figure out tomorrow when all this stuff goes live. But these dice games are always a welcome addition. So next up here, we are going to have the Christmas event crafting mission. So as you guys can see, this is where you're going to use those cookies like we just mentioned from that quiz game. So there's going to be 3 different types of cookies that you're going to be able to obtain, and it looks like you're going to have quite a few of them, but you can use those to go ahead and build up some different items here. Now, from what we can see, we are going to have some affinity items as well as some new hammers, probably going to be themed around the Christmas characters and so on. So this is pretty interesting stuff. That makes me think that we're probably going to get some sort of new stones or something along those lines, considering we have event specific and holiday specific hammers, but time will tell. I don't really know exactly what they're going for here, but we'll just have to wait and see when it all goes live tomorrow. So as you guys can see, this is going to be where you can get the different cookies. You'll get the snowman ones from the rush dungeon, you'll get the Rudolph ones from the quiz event, and the magical elf cookies from the secret shop. So that is pretty much what we're looking at there. Now, when it comes to the SS Shizuru Lucky Chance event, we've already mentioned this. Again, this is largely going to be exactly the same as the SS Marie Rose event, only it's looking like it might be a little bit more difficult even from that, considering the fact that we're going to need these coins here, so we're not going to outright be able to roll and potentially get the character and a memory. Instead, we're going to need to build those things using those coins, and once we get that coin, it resets the board. So that's pretty much what you're looking at there, and they do confirm that in this information right here. So that's pretty much what we're looking at there. Now we are going to have another look here at the event missions. We've already talked about this. Again, this is how you get the coins, just by doing your different daily event missions and so on and so forth. Next up here, the event crafting for the Chizuru event. So this is interesting. Basically, as you guys can see here, this is going to be how we obtain not only Chizuru, but her memories and her cards. So they do mention here, or at least they show us, that it is going to take 3 of those coins in order to make the character for the first time. Hopefully that means that the card and the memories are only 1 coin apiece. Otherwise, this thing is going to be an absolute nightmare, and people are going to be very unhappy. This is going to be something that you can definitely tell they want you to buy packages for. I get the feeling that Chizuru is going to be a character that is probably going to be very good, but you can tell that they are definitely making her a premium character, and so there's always a catch, a give and a take when it comes to this stuff. Like I mentioned, the fact that we aren't having a banner right after the Guilty Gear collab is nice, but this right here is how they get you, so keep that in mind. So there's always going to be a pro and a con to everything, and that is definitely the con to this. So that is pretty much going to do it for that, and as you guys can see, we are also going to have the battle pass, but really largely, like I mentioned already, I went through here and this stuff is looking pretty similar to what we've seen before, so not much for me to talk about there. But other than that, you guys, that's pretty much what we're getting here. At At the end of the day, the biggest thing that I'm worried about is basically what it is going to take for us to craft this Chizuru memory, as well as the card. You know, we already know that we're going to need 3 of the coins to get the character, so hopefully, like I mentioned, that means that we only need 1 to craft those other things, but time will tell. Again, I know a lot of people out there are big fans of Chizuru and have been waiting for this SS character for a while, and it's just unfortunate that this seems to be how they wanted to implement it, and this might end up proving to be a lot more difficult than it might be worth, but we do not know yet, and I do urge everybody to just wait and see, because we don't necessarily have a full breadth of knowledge on this stuff until we get the actual events in game. So anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for me. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this stuff, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Continue.